Hey everybody, thank you for joining Marty in the Mystery Box. So I'm running behind because I had some stuff to do on the weekend. So we're on chapter 3, page 4. Ready? So the heels are clicking against the old linoleum floor. That box you're carrying around, you don't even know what it does. My throat went dry. I wanted to tell her no, that I was just some guy who got stuck with it, but the words wouldn't come out of my mouth. The box wanted me to answer it. I could almost feel it humming from the car outside. The silence dragged until she finally tilted her head. Be careful, she whispered, and slipped back between the shelves. I didn't follow. I couldn't. My legs felt like they were bolted to the floor. I forced myself to the counter and tossed the book down and handed over my librarian card. The librarian glanced at me, stamped the slip, and slid the slip back in the book. Fuck, I was tongue tied there for a minute. It wasn't more than a bedtime story, but the weight in my hand said otherwise. Back in the parking lot, I opened the car door, laid the book on the passenger seat. The book sat beside it quietly, but the cross faintly glowed when they paired themselves together. They looked like they belonged to each other. My phone buzzed again. You found it. Good. Now choose. Those are the words I see. I glanced at it again. Good. Now choose. I kept staring at the glowing words on my phone. Now choose. Choose what? My pulse thundered in my ears. The book, the box, the truth, none of this. I started getting panic attacks. Okay, so that was that done. I will write down for the next one to read. Okay, so everybody's still getting laid off in the States. You know, it's looking pretty shabby in the States. It looks pretty bad now. People are starting to come towards Ontario now, as all you know. And I think to myself, you know, getting laid off this close to Christmas must really suck, and I understand that. It happened to me, what, 5 years ago, but I got a good payout and stuff like that. But I felt really sad and hopeless, and maybe more than 5 years ago. Oh my God, maybe 10 years ago. I can't remember exactly, but I know what it felt like. I think I even got a video about when it happened to me somewhere, and I'll post it. Well, mind you, I was 10 years younger, I think. But besides that, I hope you guys are all set up for Christmas. Um, here we go again. So I reached out to my contact about getting the shirts and the coffee cups and all that made. So that will be coming out soon. I think everything will be better after Christmas. Tomorrow, then I'm off for 2 weeks to celebrate Christmas with my family and friends. And dogs are healthy, wife's healthy, kids are healthy. Oh, about this COVID thing. So yeah, my daughter was sick for 2 weeks almost, and then I was sick for 2 weeks, and Rose has been almost sick for 2 weeks. And it's like you get hot flashes, you don't get hot flashes, and suddenly you think you're all better, then your throat hurts and stuff. Then I looked on TikTok. TikTok's not a doctor by any chance, but just look, browse, being bored. So I did that, and they said that this is a new virus of COVID. Um, I didn't believe the first thing was true about the old COVID. A lot of people are upset. You know, we all got our shots. And then a year later, they said, you know what, you didn't even need them. But yet, it killed a lot of people. And I believe it killed my mom. My mom was perfectly healthy. And then she got her COVID shot. And then it was fine. Then 6 months later, she gets her other COVID shot. But she didn't have the same shot. She had a Moderna. And then after that, she started having symptoms of cancer and stuff like that. And it's all awful. And I still blame it on the COVID shot because you got a perfect healthy woman suddenly gets a COVID shot. First one's fine. Second one, she went downhill. So I did a couple bit of research and stuff like that, and they said if you have a million COVID shots, 500,000 are placebos, and the other 500,000 are real. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds something like the government would do, pretty sketchy. They're saying that our groceries next year, we're gonna have to pay an extra $1,000 um extra every year on groceries and stuff. I feel like they keep just jamming us in the ass. How would you say it? We get our paycheck, pay taxes. We go to a grocery store, we pay taxes. We get gas. We're taxed on top of tax, on top of tax, on top of tax. Now they're saying they want to come out with this new tax that when you're heating your home in the winter, if you heat it too much, they want to be able to tax you on the extra amount of heat. So say if the government blows it out their ass and says everybody can only heat their house up to 65 degrees, and say one day it's really cold, but they don't care because they're living in their mansions. But they say, okay, what, Mr. Evans heated it up to 80? Okay, well, from 65 to 80, that 15% more heat, we're gonna have to charge them more, like they're doing in Toronto for the millionaires who have the house. They're saying anybody who buys a house over $3 million will get chip tax, a luxury tax. Like now, you're probably thinking, well, they deserve it and stuff like that. And I agree with you. Like, if you have billions of dollars and you buy a house for 5 million or 10 million, why should you get taxed extra just because you make more and you're doing better in the world? They're saying can Toronto has no money and stuff like that, and all this politics bullshit can just wrap your head around it. And this side says this side says this. I don't believe none of the fuckers. You know what I believe in? I believe that we go to work every day, even if we don't like being there, we'll still go to work because it's pretty cool. If you like your job and you like the people you work with, that's excellent. And I think that's really good to look forward to because you can go to work and have a shitty job, have shitty people you don't like working with. But it does get day go faster, have a couple of laughs at work and stuff like that. But when you cut all the bullshit out, everybody's there just to work, not for a social event. But it was funny because when you figure when you're the younger one talking to the older gentleman, you're thinking, why is that old man rude? Cuts me off and just says, get back to work. Now that we're the old people, not old people, but, you know, we're that way now. Like I recall last week, someone was talking to me and I'm like, and I didn't mean to cut them off. I just said, yeah, 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 okay, go back to work. Right? I think as you get older, you don't want to hear the nonsense as much as when you're a young kid and you're yip 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 yip, and you're wondering why they get upset because now we're in that situation, and I understand you don't have the patience for it anymore. You just want to do your job and go home. That's all you want to do. And sometimes you can't do that, unfortunately, because everybody talks and stuff like that. But just it's hard to say. I feel like I don't know what's going to happen after Christmas. Like, is there going to be more layoffs? Like, I believe there is a lot more. Um, HI, hmm, how would I say that? But hmm, AI, they are taking over a lot of jobs. Like, I can see the lawyers gone, people who sell houses are gone, the real estate late people. Um, the coders are gone, secretaries will be gone. I think anything that has to do with computers is going to be taken over by AI. I really think that. Um, I think it's sad that, like, it's really amazing when you see what AI does. Like, don't get me wrong, like how we went from this to AI, where now we don't really have to kill humans because we can have robots to do all this stuff for us. Like, it reminds you like Terminator, right? Terminator, and we looked at that, we thought that was so cool, and now it's actually here, and we all just thought, no, that would never happen, but it's here, and a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Um, I'm not, I'm a fabricator. I got to lift heavy steel all day and do all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying a robot couldn't take my job, but it costs a lot of money to get a robot to pick up the steel, to measure it, to cut it, to weld it together, to put it in jigs, to do all that stuff, to basically assemble the whole thing from scratch, bend your own steel. So I feel like all the people with trades are pretty safe, right? And it's funny because it just turned around like a 360. Remember when we had trades years ago and people go, well, I'm working from home on my computer and I make such and such and such. And, they got the nice cars, they got all this, and people look at us tradespersons and say, oh, you're a tradesperson. So you only make probably 70,000 a year, get your nails dirty, do all this while we're sitting at home, relaxing, drinking orange juice or whatever. Now look, now you guys have no jobs. They even are hitting the vice presidents, right, to cut them out because they make too much high salaries. So now basically it just turned around. A couple to 5, 10 years ago, people looked at us as, oh, you're the low working class. We'll never lose our jobs. We work from home. We do everything we want. No worries. Now look, what's the future done? Brought AI in, and now you guys got no jobs. And us fabricators or tradespeople, we all have the jobs because we work with our hands and our brain, and we're skilled with our tools. Doing computer stuff and stuff like that, I was amazed. I've always been jealous of you guys typing on the computer for a couple hours. You make 200,000 a year. I would love to have that, but I've never been very good with computers. But that's the newer generation. Now you guys are upset because now you got the back to work clause, and you're like, you moved really far away from your actual work, and now they want you back, and you're like, well, I didn't sign up for this. I like doing what I'm doing. Yeah, you like vacationing every day, being at home on the computer. Who wouldn't like that? But you guys have to go back to work, which in a way I agree that's fair because we've been doing it all our life. But yeah, like it's just funny how you guys brag the world that you guys are sitting at home playing on your computers, making 200,000-300,000 a year. We're at work cutting our fingers, measuring tapes, getting big welding burns. And you guys had the world. You guys had it for like 10 years at least. Now you're getting called back, and now because they brought this AI, they're destroying all your jobs. Copywriters, everything's going to be gone. And now you guys are sitting back going, well, what are we going to do? Well, you can learn how to work with AI, like fix the robots. Oh yeah, that'd be a labor thing to fix the robots. But I don't know what you guys are going to do. If you're so used to being on your computers and doing everything every day, trying to make money, and these big CEOs who make 600,000 a year out on their ass, gone. But yeah, anything to do with computers now, right, is obsolete. AI is just going to go boom. Like one lady told me she had to do a spreadsheet for the company. Boss goes, can you do a spreadsheet for the company? Sure. Took her 2 days. AI did it in 3 minutes and a better job. So what happened? After a couple of weeks, she said she got laid off. Right? And I understand AI is coming in, and I thought about it yesterday when I was driving to work. Would it be that bad to shut everything down? Just hear me out. If we said somehow we had the power to say no more AI, no more advancements, no more cell phones, no more this, no more that, what would we do? When you guys think about that, what would you do if suddenly you could come down and say, boom, no more cell phones, no more AI, we're going back to the 80s. So if you had to call somebody or something like that, you had to use a big rotary dial-up phone. You had to see your friends. You had to get on your bike and ride over there. You know, you were tougher back then too. You flipped, you fell, you cut, you hit your head. You'd spit on it and just do whatever you're doing. But yeah, I just got off note there. Crazy, I guess. If you guys ever watching TV, you should start watching into The Landman on Prime. It's an amazing show. It's really good. The way I just started watching one episode, then I binged it, and now I can't. Now it's really good. Wouldn't say as good as Supernatural, but it's up there. It was pretty good. I didn't mind it at all. There's a season and a half out right now. It's called The Landman, and I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. But anyways, It would help me if you could please subscribe to Marty and the Mystery Box. And I hope you and your family have a great Christmas, and I hope you get all your wishes and all the presents you wanted. I hope your kids are healthy and they get a nice Christmas. So I'm going to let you go, and I'll be back next Saturday or Sunday or Monday, one of them. But I did promise you a video a week. So I'm just getting over feeling a little bit drowsy and sick, but I'm getting a lot better. But yes, if you do the look it up on YouTube, COVID-2, and then you'll see that you get still the cough, you get all this stuff. But everything seems to be going well. I'm still working out, still in good shape, right? No complaints. So wish you all the best from Marty and the Mystery Box. You take care.